Here's a secret business and life hack that not enough people openly talk about. It's called gamification. Marketing agencies and Fortune 500 companies have figured out how to gamify their product and their audience in order to boost sales. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about 5 challenges that if at any point during this year you were willing to accept and complete, you would be closer to becoming the version of yourself that you've always envisioned. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC
John Coleman.
Yo, what's poppin'?
JC, I'm excited. I'm excited. Like, we just came off of 5 consecutive days of playoff football.
Trash football.
You cannot tell me that the college playoff games were trash.
They were trash.
Nope. The Notre Dame game was a really good game.
Until like the fourth quarter.
The Ohio State game was started off pretty rocky.
Cheeks.
It ended pretty rocky, but there's a couple quarters of good football. Then we had 3 consecutive days of NFL playoffs,
Which
Saturday, Sunday,
worse.
and Monday. Monday's game was terrible. I mean, the Vikings got absolutely housed.
Shout out to the NBA for completely crumbling as a league.
Does anyone even talk about the NBA anymore?
It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad, right?
Yeah. I mean, the revenue's up, but viewership is down. Don't nobody watch that shit.
I mean, even on Christmas, the NFL totally little brothered the NBA and said, yeah, NBA, I know for the past 2 decades, you've been all about playing games on Christmas, but we're going to take that from you, too.
I told you I'm different. Netflix got me. I'm going to start going down to Wellington, Florida and checking out the polo grounds.
What, all because of a Netflix show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Limited access, few people, no stimmies. I'm there.
Are you going to be a fan, or do you see yourself hopping on one of those horses?
No, never that. But rub elbows with people. I might buy a stable or 2. There's a lot of equestrian property by me, so I might switch things up.
Why not? And you're all into, ever since we had Chris on the show, wanting to elevate the people that you associate with. And if you're looking for very successful business people or a bunch of trust fund babies.
Yes, trust fund babies.
Then you should go to the polo grounds in Wellington.
Yeah, I'm not looking to build business relationships. I'm just looking to ride coattails at this point, bro.
I need you building some business relationships while you ride coattails.
I mean, yeah.
You do 70% for JC, do 30% for DO.
Yeah, I got you, man. I got you.
All right. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to Kate DeKay and Steve and Abigail and Jennifer and the entire team at the Eustace family of companies, which is Eustace Mortgage, it's Verity Mortgage. I got to go to New Orleans Sunday and Monday, and I flew out Sunday, came home Monday, and they were having their annual sales conference where I got to speak at the annual sales conference. What a great group of people.
Word.
And they showed me a side of New Orleans that I actually can appreciate.
What, the clean side doesn't exist?
It does.
Bullshit.
Yeah. Garden District. We stayed at the Garden District Hotel St. Vincent. We did a pub crawl. I didn't drink alcohol, but many of them did, as you should when you're doing an annual sales conference. Did a pub crawl in the Garden District. I went to a gym in the Garden District. Yes. The Garden District is like everything Bourbon Street could be if it was cleaned up and not all trashy.
Blasphemous.
Yeah, but nonetheless, then I ended up at Drago's, had some char grilled oysters.
Did you gamble?
No, I didn't. I wasn't there long enough. Caesars is right across the street from the Drago's I went to. I literally landed at 7 p.m. on Sunday. I flew out at 4 p.m. on Monday. I wasn't even there for 24 hours. So, and then I want to give a shout out to Total Mortgage. So in a couple of weeks, I'm going to hop on a similar airplane.
Okay.
But this time I'm flying to New Haven, Connecticut, and I'm going to participate in Total Mortgage's annual sales conference. So excited to meet that company. They seem like a young, up-and-coming, fresh, full of energy organization. So I'm sure it's going to be a lively event, and I can't wait to bring the funk.
Good for you, Dustin.
Yeah, all good, all good. So today, 5 challenges to complete this year.
Okay.
And you don't have to complete all 5 of them, but I'm going to tell you if you did, you would literally be guaranteed the clarity that you've always wanted and you'd be guaranteed the productivity that you've always envisioned, but for whatever reason, something always gets in the way.
Yourself.
All 5 of these challenges will allow you to not get in yourself's way.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Before we jump into it, I do want to say thank you to the show's sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by MLO Force. That's our buddy Nathan Nottingham. MLO Force website, mloforce.com, but they are continuing education without the headache. Like imagining CE or continuing ed being enjoyable and affordable. Or how about this? I love this about MLO Force. You are guaranteed to laugh at least once or they'll give you your money back. So we at TLOP in the MLO coaching community are beginning to partner with Nathan and his team over at MLO Force. And we want to encourage all of you who need continuing education, who's looking for CE, check out what they're doing over at mloforce.com.
There it is, Dustin.
All right. So here we go. Let's jump in. I'm going to try to do this in order of what I deem to be the easiest to achieve. And then we'll end with the biggie, the big one. It's not going to shock anybody what the big one is. But if you were to start with the big one, I'm going to tell you that would be my hack based on experience. Because if you started with the 5th challenge that we're going to introduce you to or present today, it would allow you to pretty easily, while you're achieving the 5th, which is deemed the hardest, you would be able to knock out 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
And if you were to ever fully embrace and complete the 5th challenge, for me, it was life-changing. So on that note, number 1, we're in January. What's everyone doing in January? Not everyone. Everyone's a strong word.
Ditching all the resolutions that they made just 2 weeks prior.
No, that tends to not happen until like first week of February.
Oh, no, it's a new society. People give up quick nowadays, Dustin. They don't even make it that far.
Well, I mean, everyone online right now, and again, everyone's a strong word.
No,
there are many people wanting to talk about Quitter's Day. Do you know what Quitter's Day is?
Is that what's going on the internet?
Oh, yes.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. So Quitter's Day is, I think, February 1st. Right, I don't know the exact date. You know, if you and I had that fancy iPad that you bought us up and running,
I mean, it works.
I could sit here
using it reverse angle now. We're just using it to prop up Dustin's handwritten notes.
Yeah, but is it tied into the internet yet? Do you have the Wi-Fi
Why
turned on?
when you say tied into the internet? Do you know how old you sound?
I mean, did you get the Wi-Fi code from our landlord and have you put the Wi-Fi code into the iPad?
No, because I have to get this authorized because I have to download. It's not that plug and play.
Okay. Okay, well then that's what I meant when I'm saying you have us hooked into the internet.
No, shit.
Okay, but like eventually we'll be hooked into the internet and I can just look stuff up, or you could look it up, or we could have an actual producer with you being talent who's looking it up for us, and
this
then
is
they're
a
pinging
big
us.
step for us. It's less, the fact that it's there. The best. What do you call it? What do you call it? The best CRM is the one you use?
Yes.
That's the one we're using right now.
Yeah, it is. Okay, that's the best teleprompter.
Yeah.
It's essentially, so y'all can't see this, and obviously if you're tuning in on Spotify, Apple, or anywhere you go to listen to podcasts, you can't see anything. By the way, if you can't see us, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. We want you to be able to see us. Plus, I want to see those subscriptions continue to rise. So YouTube channel is TLOP. It's the Loan Officer Podcast. Same thing you'd find on Spotify or Apple. But you can't see us. But what you would see is I have my handwritten notes, and we literally taped them to the cover of the iPad that John purchased us
to use for the notes.
Yeah, so we're not quite yet fully embracing the technology, but we are at least using what you purchased to make this more intentional. So no, we are in January, and a lot of people want to do dry January. If we fast forwarded into fourth quarter, you would do sober October. Okay, you don't need a cool sing-song marketing gimmick to not drink alcohol for a certain period of time. Okay, so my challenge would be, yes, it's fun to do dry January because you're not alone. And that's always been a life hack, right? Do things with other people. Find people who are doing what you want to do. Join those groups. You are the company that you keep, right? I want to become a better person with triathlons. What I do, I joined a tri club. I now work out with other people who do triathlons. We now talk about doing triathlons because God only knows our spouses and significant others get tired of us talking about our training. We need folks to talk about. So dry January and sober October tend to work because you can get more people doing it, but it doesn't mean that you can't go no alcohol August, right? You can do it whenever, but I will tell you from firsthand experience, I am at my best when I am alcohol free. my thoughts, my creativity, the way that I feel, the way that I sleep. Like a buddy of mine right now is doing dry January, and he's as big of a drinker as I am. Shout out to Joey. And he is posting his sleep, because he wears one of those fancy watches that lets him track it. And wouldn't you know, his sleep is like perfect because he's not drinking alcohol.
I used to think that was so opposite because you get so hammered and smacked that you pass out and sleep for 10 hours. So what was me?
Yep. So the science behind it, if you want a good night's sleep where your body and your mind are allowed to like truly rest and recover, no, that happens when you don't drink alcohol. So I'll just share with you firsthand experiences and encourage you. If you wanted to do something that was a challenge, you would do that for an entire month of no alcohol. If you already don't drink, then hey, kudos to you.
One step ahead of the game.
You are already one step ahead. You only need 4 challenges. But if you remember, I kicked off today's episode talking about gamifying. Like, what are these challenges? It's gamification, right? If you want to become a healthier person, how could you gamify diet? Well, that's the fad diets that we all follow. Hey, I'm going to do this for a long period of time. I'm going to go vegan. I'm going to cut out carbs. I'm going to do South Beach. I'm going to do carnivore. I'm going to do, where if you talk to most nutritionists, it's like gimmick diets are for unhealthy people. Healthy people, their diet is, I have a healthy diet, right? There's not a name. If your diet has a name, then you're not healthy. But there is something to be said about gamifying it. Like, I love to gamify my workouts. How do I gamify my workout? I will find a workout that is 12 weeks long. So now I have something to complete over the next 12 weeks. I will sign up for a race, or I'll sign up for a competition so that I have something that I'm aiming or working towards. So the reason why we do these challenges is because we're trying to gamify or trick ourselves into doing things that we already should have been doing, but when left to our own vices, we're not going to choose it. But if we can gamify it, most of us love to play games. We love to put together puzzles. We have some kind of a natural competitiveness about us. That's the purpose of these challenges, is to gamify being a healthier or being a better person.
Well said, Dustin. You inspire the people.
Do I?
Yeah.
Do you think you could go 30 days without alcohol?
I've tried myriad times. I'll get there one day, maybe when I turn 40.
What's the longest you've gone?
I don't know. When's the longest I've been sick? That's the longest I've been sick, and I'll tell you that's the longest I haven't drank.
Yeah, I mean, prior to 2019, the longest I had gone from probably 1997 to 2019. So I was like 20 or 2000. So yeah, that's 22 years. Oh,
couple days.
Days.
Yeah, it's days. Yeah.
Right. Since 2019. Multiple times have I gone months.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll get there one day. Maybe not. Whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And look, as much as I love to drink, I will tell you I am at my best. Like, shout out to Luke Shinkula with Loans on Demand. Luke has been posting about, I think he's going a year now, no alcohol. And I don't think he's ever going to turn back.
Yeah, I think I need to do one of them like toad venom, like ayahuasca trips, like meet my spirit in the jungle somewhere, and then I'll come back and be like, you know what? I don't need this alcohol anymore.
Yeah,
just weed and mushrooms and all the other pills and all the other shit is cool, but
it's freeing. Yeah, it's freeing. Don't get me wrong. If you handed me one of those like sparkling waters that's infused with like a light amount of CBD or THC, I'll do that in a heartbeat. That's very calming, right? That's like just having like a really good green tea almost. But yeah, I thoroughly, don't get me wrong, I look forward to my sangria and margaritas, but I thoroughly enjoy the person I am.
I mean, every day, when you wake up and you feel like shit, like, oh, I'll never drink, why do I do this to myself, self-inflicted wounds, and then, the next day, by the afternoon, like, you know what, I feel kind of good, let me get a sip, make it a double.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Yep, so there we go, challenge number 1. Challenge number 2 is my newest challenge. And this is something that, quite honestly, I think I did well throughout my career without intentionality.
Okay.
But I'm going to ask the group, the listeners, the audience, and if you're part of our coaching community, I'm going to be coaching this. Never eat alone. And I'm sure there's plenty of books out there that talk about never eat alone. And for me, it's never eat lunch alone. Can you challenge yourself to go 2 months, 6 weeks, 9 weeks, where as a business professional, you are never eating lunch alone? Now, for many of you, that means you're eating lunch. And let's stop and talk about that.
Yep.
Like most of us, we need to get ourselves away from that computer, pull ourselves away from our desk, go step outside, take in some fresh air, even if that fresh air is 19 degrees, take in some fresh air, decompress a little bit, and take a break. And for most, that's the importance of a lunch break. It's a break. It's a reset. It's a time for your mind to get a second wind so that you can go and complete the day in front of you. But when you are in sales like most of us are, and you understand that your net worth is the sum of your network, what are you doing to foster the relationships you already have? And what are you doing to build new relationships? Because that's really what networking is. Well, if you could challenge yourself to go a certain time period, minimum of a month, preferably 12 weeks, to never eat lunch alone, think about what you could do. I could connect with somebody that I already do business with and just show them gratitude and get caught up by breaking bread with them. I could connect with somebody that I don't know yet, offer to treat them to lunch and spend the time getting to know them. I could reconnect with a colleague. Maybe it's somebody that I rely on that supports my sales efforts, and treat them to lunch, get to know them on a human level, but at the same time, thank them for their partnership. I could grab my boss, ask him or her to go to lunch with me, at which point it's an impromptu way to do a review without it being like an annual review. On that note, if you are coaching with me, I'm going to be coaching you to never eat lunch alone. It's a simple challenge. Commit to 30 days, preferably 12, and we'll give you weekends off. Although for weekends, guess who you should have lunch with?
Nobody.
Your mom, your spouse, your sister, right? There is somebody in your life that you don't see enough, your best friend. Like, when was the last time you and Ty went and had lunch together?
We're going today.
Are you really? Mm-hmm. There you go. You must be coached well, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe Ty just going through a major milestone.
Shout out Ty.
Yeah, shout out to Ty. Just left his employer after 12 years. Yeah, I saw him post about it online. All right, let's keep things rolling. This next challenge, I'm going to personally be taking on this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to be honest, it's going to be easier for me to do because I live a certain lifestyle. Now, I live a certain lifestyle that I didn't live the first 40 years of my life. I've been living the past 5 years of my life because I completed challenge number 5. But this third one, there's a book that supports it, but it's called the 5 a.m. Club. Imagine how much better your life would be if you woke up every single morning at 5 a.m. Every morning. Like, what could you get accomplished? How much clarity and intentionality would you have if you committed to getting up every morning at 5 a.m.? That is Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, now, if you were not drinking, it's very easy to get up at 5 a.m. Because if you're not drinking, you're probably not staying out late. You're probably not staying out late and snacking. But if you got up at 5 a.m. every single day, how much better would your life be, both personal and business? Especially if you said, I'm going to do this for a certain time period. 9 weeks, 16 weeks, 26 weeks, right? 26 weeks is half the year. What would that look like? The fourth challenge is what we're coaching and teaching right now. So like, you and I work for Lower. Like, you and I have TLOP, right? TLOP Entertainment LLC. That's our company. That's where we offer MLO coaching community. It's where we offer courses like LO Launch. It's how I'm able to travel the country and speak. But we're also employed by Lower. And Lower currently has me coaching 95 of their loan originators. I'm putting them through launch. The difference with the Lower people is, well, their employer is compensating for all of that to be done on their behalf, so they're not having to pay out of their own pocket. But it's essentially the same exact coursework. I am teaching the 12-week challenge to all 95 of the registered originators at Lower. The 12-week challenge is specifically for mortgage loan originators. We've done 1 or 2 podcast episodes on it. It's one of our staple. If you're a part of our coaching program, you probably know about the 12-week challenge. But if you are hearing about it for the first time, essentially here's what it is. 12 weeks, which is 84 calendar days, is 60 business days, give or take, with holidays. But for 60 business days, mortgage brokers, loan officers, MLOs, VPs of lending, whatever you want to call yourself, for 60 consecutive work days, here's what I need you to do. I need you to reach out to 12 real estate agents who you don't already know and you're not already connected with, where you introduce yourself and you let them know that you're going to be calling tomorrow. By the way, if you're part of our coaching community, if you're a part of LO Launch, we give you a framework of the suggested scripts to use in order to do that initial written outreach. And that written outreach, when I went through the 12-week challenge the first time, it was so long ago, it was actually snail mail. When I put myself and my team through the 12-week challenge back in 2018, no, we used email, text, and DMs on social. So for you all, I highly doubt anyone's going to be using snail mail, but you will be using email, text, and DMs. So that's 12 people a day you're reaching out to initially in the written form. Then it's 12 people a day that you're actually picking up the phone, following up on the written information that you sent, and your goal is to schedule a meeting, and then you'll be going on one meeting. So imagine this, for 12 weeks, 84 calendar days, which is 60 business days. During those 60 business days, once you got through the first 2 days, by the third day, you should be emailing, texting, or DMing 12 people, introduce yourself, calling 12 people to follow up on the email, DM, or text that you sent so that you could schedule a meeting, of which if you did that, you would end up scheduling one meeting. Like, you're not going to schedule 12 meetings, right? You might not get 12 people to pick up. And if you get 5 people to pick up, 3 people may tell you to go pound sand. One person may brush you off and one person may go ahead and book with you. That's all you need. But if you did that for 12 consecutive weeks, I promise you, you will close more transactions, you will make more money, and you will expand your network. And we all know
your network is the sum of your net worth or some shit.
Yeah, just reverse that. Your net worth
is
the sum of your net worth.
Yeah.
Like, we are in the networking game, whether we network online or we network offline, we are in the networking game. So the fourth challenge that I would, and this is very mortgage specific, although you can think about if you're in other sales, how could you put yourself through the same 12-week challenge? Like, who are the 12 targets you could reach out to in the written format, then follow up with a phone call with the sole goal of scheduling a meeting. Now, if you complete the challenge, you would have gone on 60 face-to-face meetings with your target client. Of those 60 meetings, because sales is math and math don't lie, I promise you half of the meetings were a waste of your time in terms of finding a competent potential client on the other end of the table. Now, they're never a waste of your time because you have a chance to hear rebuttals, you have a chance to practice your pitch, you have a chance to essentially rehearse. And that person who's on the other side of the table that you're meeting with, although you've already deemed that they are not maybe your ideal client, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't walk out of that meeting without 2 referrals. You just would get 2 referrals to maybe people they know that would be a better suit for working with you, partnering with you, or, recommending your services to others. So of the 60, we know that 30 weren't worth your time. That leaves 30 that were worth your time. Of those 30 that were worth your time, half of them, they don't like John. Or you didn't like them. You're like, some cuck shit there.
Oh, yeah, it's probably the latter. I didn't like them.
Yeah, well, it probably is.
Yeah.
It probably is, but it doesn't matter. You found 12 to 15 that were worth your time, that they like you enough, you like them enough, and now you're going to be able to build a relationship. If you're a mortgage broker or a loan originator, those 12 to 15 people could be good for, on average, 1.5 transactions. You're talking about 18 to 24 transactions. If your average commission was well over $3,000, $3,000 times 20 means you made $60,000 in additional income, aka incremental income, all because you were willing to gamify doing your damn job. Right? That's the 12-week challenge, is gamifying doing your damn job. 12 outbound phone calls? Come on. I'm talking to an intern at UCF right now. And when he worked at Orange Theory, he made 100 outbound contacts a day. And we in the mortgage industry think, 12 phone calls, that's a lot. I'm like, well, it's 12 emails plus 12 phone calls. It's actually 24 outreaches. But that's nothing compared to the 19-year-old kid working at Orange Theory who has to do 100 outbound. Right? My next door neighbor, Andrew, shout out to Andrew. He makes 70 to 90 outbound calls a day. He is a high earning 30-year veteran of his industry. But for him to earn that income and to be recognized as a top producer in his field, 70 to 90 in the mortgage industry, we think 12 phone calls plus 12 emails is like asking somebody to cut off their left hand. No, it's not. It's basic. But we are yet again gamifying so that we can ultimately become a better version of ourselves or achieve the goals that we set out in front of ourselves. And the fifth one, y'all have heard me talk about it. It's 75 hard.
Never heard of it.
It is 75 hard. Hashtag 75 hard. Go back to July of 2019. Find the episode of the MF CEO Project and listen. Now, there's so much. I mean, this came out July 2019. Here we are almost 6 years removed from that. But if you want to put yourself through something that'll shift your mindset forever, it's the 75 hard challenge. I mean, it just is. It is. I did it the first time and it changed me. I did it the second time and it just reinforced everything and turned it into habit. By the third time, it had become 75 boring. And right now, as I sit in front of you, I'm going through a 75 hard reboot, and I almost feel like it's not hard enough. And because it's not hard enough, I almost find myself kind of being I don't really need to do that, or that's not that important today. But what it's reminding me of is how far I've come, that, not drinking, not a big deal. Exercising consistently, not a big deal. Eating healthy, not a big deal. Reading every day, not a big deal. But I can tell you, I know why I'm doing this reboot. I'm doing this reboot because I knew I was at my best, at my peak, on my A game when I was going through the 75 hard challenge. For those that don't know, pretty simple. For 75 consecutive days, you must do all 5 of these things. You miss one thing, you start over. And I had to start over the first time I did it. So it took me 101 days to complete a 75-day challenge. And yes, you will drop weight. And yes, you'll look great in the mirror. And yes, you'll feel great about yourself. But I promise you, it's how it changes you mentally, why you want to do it. So we'll start with the easy parts. Every day you have to take a picture of yourself. They call that a progress picture. Believe it or not, that's the one thing that many people miss and they have to start over. But the reason why you have to take a progress picture is because it reminds all of us it's the small things that matter, and how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're willing to just willy-nilly brush to the side, I don't need to take a picture of myself. That's meaningless. That's too easy. Okay. But how you do one thing is how you do anything. What else are you just brushing off? And it's the details that matter. So take a progress picture. Cool, I can do that. Drink a gallon of water a day. Not extremely difficult, but something you have to be very intentional and strategic about, because I promise you, you don't want to get to 8 o'clock at night being like, holy shit, I still have another 84 ounces I have to guzzle before I go to bed, because that'll disrupt your sleep. You think alcohol disrupts your sleep? I dare you. So it shows you how to be strategic and intentional with your actions. But drinking a gallon of water a day is not that difficult. You cannot drink alcohol at all. No cheat days. There's no alcohol. 75 consecutive days. You have to follow a healthy diet. By the way, John, you get to pick a healthy diet. We're not saying, or the founder isn't saying, has to be keto, it has to be Atkins, it has to be vegan, right? In fact, we've kind of already said on this episode, if you study and you talk to many nutritionists, they'll say if the diet has a name, it's a fad, and it's not for the healthy people. Healthy people do things like, I just don't eat processed food. I stay away from anything that comes in a package. When I go to the grocery store, I only buy the things that are on the perimeter of the grocery store, because that's where all the healthy, fresh alternatives are. It's not down the aisles. Down the aisles is where you find the in the package filled with preservatives food. So follow a healthy diet. And then lastly, exercise twice a day for 45 minutes each time. Once has to be outside. Once has to be outside. Now, it does not say exercise for an hour and a half. It says twice a day. It doesn't say it has to be strenuous. Walk the neighborhood. Hold your wife's hand. Talk about your day. Like, you can kill two birds with one stone, where you can get one-on-one with your significant other while being outdoors and while exercising. And here's what I will tell you, hands down, why I love 75 Hard. Because it taught me these 3 words. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Everything in my life is a decision I make. I either prioritize it or I don't prioritize it. So it's not like, oh, I can't read nonfiction. Because by the way, the 10 pages you're reading every night, did I say that already? You have to read 10 pages?
I zoned out a long time ago.
Okay, you have to read 10 pages. Like, I don't think I said that. You have to read 10 pages. And it's 10 pages of a nonfiction book. So that's business books, that's self-help books, something that's going to make you a motivated and more just a better person from a knowledge and education standpoint. You have to read 10 pages. It says read, not listen. Read. Now, right now, I'm reading a book and I'm listening to a book, but I'm still reading a book because I'm doing a 75 Hard reboot, because I want to get myself back on track where I felt my best and I was operating at my best. So you have to read 10. But no, what it taught me is, yes, you can. So if someone says, oh, I can't read, I'm like, wait, you can't read, or you're not willing to read? Because, oh, I can't read nonfiction. Yeah, you can. As long as you can read nonfiction. Oh, I can't not drink alcohol for 75 days. I'm like, oh, do you have a substance abuse problem? Are you addicted to the drug? No. Then yes, you can. You're just not willing to do it. Oh, I can't go 75 days without eating birthday cake. No, you can't, or again, you're not willing to. And here's the best part about 75 Hard. What it'll teach you is that there's always going to be a reason for you not to want to do it. Oh, I got a birthday coming up. Oh, I have a vacation coming up. Oh, no. That's why this is a mental challenge. In life, you're always going to have something come up. So I've done 75 Hard through October. That's Halloween. All that Halloween candy, I said no to. All that candy corn, I said no to. I've done it on my birthday. I've gone to a steak dinner and watched my wife have an old fashioned right in front of me. It was my birthday. I should have celebrated, but I didn't. 75 Hard didn't allow me to do it. I've gone to the casino. I've rolled dice. I've been loud and obnoxious without alcohol. 75 Hard taught me I can still have fun at a casino without alcohol. It taught me that I can celebrate my birthday without alcohol. It showed me that I can read. I might not have liked to read. I might not be a great reader, but 75 Hard introduced me to reading. I now enjoy it, and I've become better because I read 10 pages a day for 75 consecutive days. So if you are looking to truly make a change in your life, because nothing changes if nothing changes, then I'm going to ask you to gamify it, to make it more fun. If it's fun, you're more willing to do it. Gamify it could make it easier. And the 5 things that I would encourage you to do: go drive for a month. Take on the Never Eat Alone challenge. Become a part of the 5 a.m. club. If you're in sales, take on your version of the 12-week challenge. If you're a mortgage broker or a loan officer, no, do my version, because I know that shit works. And if you truly want to see a significant change in you as a person, and you as a leader, and you as a practitioner, if you want to become healthier, take on and complete, I don't care if it takes you 100+ days, the 75 Hard challenge. And then lastly, want to let all of our friends know who are in the Carolinas, South Carolina, North Carolina, anywhere within a 100-mile radius of Greenville, South Carolina. The date has been set. It is February 19th. The location, Lazy Goat, downtown Greenville, South Carolina. We are going to be hosting a free, that's right, free to you, a free half-day originator sales mastermind event in Greenville, South Carolina on February 19th at the Lazy Goat. And it's free thanks to our sponsors, Arch MI and Parker Smith with State Farm. So mark your calendars if you're in or around Greenville, South Carolina. That's an event that you won't want to miss. And John, if it's free,
It's for you and everybody else.
There you go. John Coleman says, if it's free, it's for me. Speaking of John Coleman, he is John Coleman. He is my co-host and producer extraordinaire. I am Dustin Owen. You've just tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast. That is all the time we have for you today. Make sure you are subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you have signed up for my newsletter. Both of those, John, they are
Right? What? I'm not paying attention. Free.
free. There you
Yes.
go. It's your point. Your opportunity to say free. There we go. YouTube subscribe. It's free. Sign up for the newsletter, tloponline.com. It's free. And then if you want business coaching and sales training, check out what we're doing at the MLO coaching community. And if you want something that's a little bit more in your face with proven results, guaranteed, MLO, LO, launch. Launch is your jam. All right, John, that's all the time we have for them today. We look forward to catching them on the next episode. Peace.